Okay, for this project, we're just gonna need a couple things. We're gonna need the Hipshot Tuner Upgrade Kit. We're gonna need a Phillips head screwdriver. I'm gonna use this wrench, but essentially you can use a socket wrench as well. And all we're gonna do is we're gonna take, and of course something to maybe quickly wind the strings. I'm gonna use my drill, but you can use a winder. Now, if you're familiar with, of course, these Clouson style vintage tuners that are on guitars. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna remove those. So first, let's go ahead and remove the strings. This is a very easy process. Okay, so this is where it gets very, very important. You need to make sure that when you go to Hipshot, you upgrade, you are getting the Grip Lock Vintage 6-in-line closed staggered kit. Now the reason this is important is your vintage tuning keys are 8.5 millimeter and your modern keys are 10 millimeter. So the modern keys are not going to fit into the shafts, the holes. The shafts aren't going to fit in the holes of these tuners. So let's go ahead, super easy. Let's just go ahead and take the screws out now. And you can see how loose they're getting already. They just kind of want to fall out, right? Super easy. Pull them right out. I ordered these in the staggered kit. You can definitely order these in the staggered kit. Staggered kit will basically have different heights. This is going to be the shortest, two medium, two tall. So the tall ones are going to come out like this. You'll notice they'll be higher than the short ones. Let's do a comparison on that to see. Obviously, you can see why that's important, right? The vintage guitars will have compression rings. So to push those out, all you do is use this tuning key and do that, and you can, well, you can almost get it totally out. We'll use this wrench to get it the rest of the way. Super easy. Now I just use the tuning key to go ahead, see? You just use a little bit of force. There you go, I was gonna say. Super easy. We're gonna take the longer tuning key. We're going to take these ump plates. We'll start with one. And what you'll notice is when we put this tuning key, locking key, in fact, I'm going to show you, it hits against that plate. See it? Let's get that to focus. See that? See the plate? See the little tangs? Hits that, won't move. So you go here. Okay. Now once we're done there, we're going to go ahead and thread this to the other side. You can see how we're just going to line up the plate so that this fits onto that lip. And then we're going to go ahead, flip her back over. And at this point, we can go ahead and tighten that up. Okay, same thing as before. Come up from behind and just enough to hold these in place. Okay, and we'll use something to just kind of hold these. So now that we have locking keys on, let's restring it. Super easy. What you're going to do is loosen this right there. Just loosen that. Run the string through the hole like so. Pull the string as tight as possible, right? So that it's on the bridge saddle and everything. See how tight it is? Turn this down here firmly so it's tight. You'll feel it clamping down the string. I bend it up. Turn it. Pretty much once you're in pitch, go ahead and cut it off. There you go. And now you're in tune, fast and easy. And again, you can take away this mod anytime you want. Okay, so I know what you're thinking. What if I don't have a Fender Strat? What if I have something like a Gibson Les Paul or another style guitar with vintage tuning keys? Well, that's easy enough too as well. We can go ahead and replace those just the same way. So what you're going to do is the same thing as before. Just go ahead and unwind the strings. Now in this one, we're just going to go ahead and loosen these up. And then once they're loose, we can pretty much unscrew them by hand. Okay, and then same thing as before. So now we want to go ahead and get our Hipshot tuner upgrade kit. Okay, and just like before, we're going to start with the ump plate and go ahead and just make sure it lines up so it covers up the holes nice and neat. And I usually start with the middle one. So you can see once you put the center one in, you can then lock it down, adjust these plates, and then put these in to suit your needs. Now, one thing to notice is these are the modern style keys. See how they're closed and closed? And if you want more of the vintage look, even though these are enclosed, that's why I thought maybe these would look nice, but they do have the open gear style ones as well. And I like these because they're just a hair lighter, so keep that in mind too. And again, you see how it kind of locks into those plates, see it? And then you just tighten it down from the other side, and now you have locking tuning keys on your Gibson Les Paul, your Epiphone Les Paul, whatever guitars that you want. Well, let's try a Gretsch, because that's a tricky one. Now, a Gretsch, you'll really love locking tuning keys because the Bigsby is such a pain. This is a huge time savings. So let's go ahead and do a look at that. And you can actually tell, here's an issue too you want to think about. On the Gretsch, see how the tuning keys are not exactly straight in a row. So how would you use this system? Well, we're going to show you right now. First of all, just like the other guitar, let's go ahead and take these strings off. We'll go ahead and use the Phillips head screwdriver, and we'll go ahead and let's take these out. First, we got to get those furls out of there. So we're going to use that same screwdriver, just a little hammer, just a little tap. They pop right out, okay? Super, super light, okay? Hipshot made this pretty easy. You could see how just like classical tuners, you see these ends, the fancy ends, they go on the outsides. And you can see that these will actually let you pivot. Okay, super easy. We go ahead and just line this up. You see how this middle one will pivot because of that. And then we're going to go ahead and put that one through. And it's kind of an awkward process at first, but let's go ahead and lock this down. So now you can see what it looks like and how the ump is done. Now they're installed, and essentially they're good to go. And you can now do the other side. And just like the 6 in a row, right, you can take your string, run it right through the hole, lock this down, and again, pull it tight. So now you're in tune. So you just repeat that on the other side and you're all done. So what we learned today is that basically Hipshot has some cool options that you can put locking tuning keys on most guitars. Those Hipshot tuners are between 16 and 18 to 1 gear ratio. What's interesting about that is to keep in mind the higher that number, the better. In other words, 12 to 1, 16 to 1, 18 to 1. If you're not familiar with what that means, what we're referring to is that when we say 18 to 1, it means you have to turn this tuning key 18 times to get one full revolution or one wrap of the string. Now that means the higher the number, the more finite. In other words, the more you have to turn this, the better it is, and here's why. Picture it when you're turning your tuning key. What's happening on your needle, on your tuner, is it's moving symbiotically with the tuner, okay? Now, what happens is when you turn a cheap tuning key, you'll notice the needle will jump. Now, sometimes that could be an inexpensive tuner, but a lot of times it's because the gear ratio is so bad that the tuner it doesn't really move and then it jumps. So better quality tuners will make a huge difference. But what's great is you don't have to buy the Hipshot ump system. Well, keep in mind, if you have Godot's or Grovers or even Kluson tuners in your guitar, there's aftermarket tuners that are already made to fit exactly that spot in every way with the locking mechanism to speed up the time. Now, you can install those without any trouble at all. That's what I want to point out in this video, is that basically upgrading your tuners is very easy. Keep in mind, just find your tuner that you have and find the direct row locking key replacement. And if you can't, or if you just want to go to a better grade tuner, the Hipshot ump system is a pretty cool system. I've been using it for years, so I have no complaints about it whatsoever. All right, guys, as always, if you haven't hit the subscription button and you'd like to, click it down below. It lets me know that you're interested in more videos and it motivates me to make them. If you like the videos, hit like. If you have comments, please put the comments in. You know, if you've experienced different situations than I have, or if you found other products than I've mentioned, put that in there. We all like to learn stuff. Sometimes the comments could be funner than the videos. As always, thank you for your time and know your gear.